Hello and welcome back to Mirror Mind. Today, we're going to explore one of the most painful, confusing, and emotionally draining experiences a person can go through, being trapped in a cycle of narcissistic abuse. But more than that, we're going to talk about the invisible glue that often keeps victims stuck in those cycles far longer than they ever thought possible: cognitive dissonance. This isn't just a psychological term. It's a mental battlefield. It's the trap that convinces people to stay in unhealthy, even dangerous relationships not because they're weak or naive, but because their own mind is at war with itself. So sit back, open your mind, and let's go deep into understanding why so many people can't just walk away from narcissists and how you or someone you love can finally break free. Part 1. What is cognitive dissonance? Let's begin with the basics. Cognitive dissonance is a psychological term coined by Leon Festinger in 1957. It describes the mental discomfort we feel when we hold two or more conflicting beliefs, values, or ideas. Here's a simple example. Let's say you believe smoking is harmful, but you still smoke. That inner conflict creates mental tension, and that tension is called cognitive dissonance. Your brain doesn't like holding two opposing thoughts, so it tries to resolve the conflict in some way. In everyday life, cognitive dissonance is normal. It's part of how we learn and adjust our behavior. But when it happens in the context of abuse, especially narcissistic abuse, it becomes something much more dangerous. It turns into a psychological prison. Part 2. Understanding narcissistic abuse. Now, what is narcissistic abuse? Narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional and psychological manipulation carried out by someone with narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic personality disorder. These individuals often lack empathy, exploit others for personal gain, and have a deep need for control and admiration. But they don't start out that way. At first, they're charming, generous, affectionate, and even too good to be true. This is called love bombing, a phase where they overwhelm their target with attention, compliments, and affection. But over time, the mask begins to slip. That same person who once called you their soulmate may begin to criticize you, devalue you, isolate you, and make you question your reality. And this is where cognitive dissonance begins to set in. Part 3. The inner war: how cognitive dissonance traps victims. Imagine this. You've been told you're loved. You've experienced moments of deep connection. You remember the warmth, the laughter, the plans you made for the future. But now you're being insulted, dismissed, blamed for things you didn't do, gaslighted into believing you're the problem. Your brain struggles to make sense of this contradiction. How can someone who loves you hurt you so deeply? How can the same person be both your comfort and your torment? That mental tug-of-war is cognitive dissonance in action. Your brain is trying to reconcile two opposing realities, and it's exhausting. Victims often rationalize abuse to reduce this discomfort. They might say things like, "They're just stressed. They didn't mean it. They had a tough childhood. They still love me." These justifications help them avoid the painful truth that the person they love is also the one harming them. Part 4. The narcissist's role in creating dissonance. But this isn't just an accident. Narcissists often create dissonance on purpose, whether consciously or unconsciously, because it keeps their victims confused and controllable. Here's how. 1. Gaslighting. This is the act of making you doubt your own perceptions and memories. A narcissist might say, "That never happened. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive." Over time, you start to question your own reality. You think, "Maybe I am crazy." Gaslighting creates deep cognitive dissonance because your experience tells you one thing, but the narcissist insists you're wrong. 2. Intermittent reinforcement. This is the most powerful psychological weapon in abuse. It's a pattern of unpredictable rewards. One day, the narcissist is loving and affectionate. The next, they're cold and cruel. You never know which version you'll get. Your brain becomes addicted to the idea that if you just try hard enough, you'll get back to the good times. This creates constant mental conflict. You remember the love, you fear the pain, and you keep holding on to hope. Part 5. Why victims stay: the power of mental traps. Many people on the outside ask, why don't they just leave? It's not that simple. Because of cognitive dissonance, the victim's mind is constantly justifying, rationalizing, and minimizing the abuse. They might believe, "No one else will love me. This is the best I can get. They're not all bad. It's my fault too." These beliefs aren't facts, they're mental defenses created to protect the psyche from collapse. You see, accepting the truth that someone you love is toxic is devastating. It means you've been lied to, manipulated, betrayed. It shatters your reality. So instead, the brain tries to hold on to the illusion, because illusions feel safer than the truth. This is the core of the trap. Part 6. The biological side of the trap. Now let's take it a step further. Cognitive dissonance isn't just mental, it's also biological. When you experience emotional highs and lows, like during intermittent reinforcement, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin during the good moments. These chemicals create feelings of attachment, love, and pleasure. Then, during the bad moments, your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone. This cycle of pain and pleasure creates something very similar to a drug addiction. The victim becomes chemically bonded to the abuser. In fact, this is sometimes referred to as a trauma bond. So you're not just emotionally attached, you're biologically hooked. Breaking free isn't just about making a decision. It's about detoxing from the mental and chemical dependence. Part 7. Common signs of cognitive dissonance in abuse. Let's now look at some real-life signs that cognitive dissonance is happening in a relationship. You make excuses for their behavior even when it hurts you. You feel confused constantly, like you don't know what's real anymore. You remember the good times more than the bad, even if the good times are rare. You feel like you're the one who needs to change, not them. You hide the truth from others. Because deep down, you know it sounds wrong. You hope things will go back to the way they were, even though that version might have been an illusion. You feel guilt or shame when you think about leaving, as if you'd be betraying them. These are all warning signs that your mind is in conflict. And that conflict is costing you your peace, your confidence, and maybe even your identity. Part 8. How to break free from the trap. Escaping cognitive dissonance isn't easy, but it's possible, and it starts with awareness. Here are some key steps. 1. Acknowledge the dissonance. The first step is to admit that your mind is in conflict. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Observe it. Notice the opposing thoughts. Name the contradiction. For example, I know they hurt me, but I still love them. That's dissonance. Now you see it. 2. Journal your reality. Start writing things down. Record what actually happened, not just how you feel. This creates an objective record that your brain can return to when the narcissist tries to rewrite history. Journaling helps your logical mind take control over your emotional mind. 3. Challenge false beliefs. Ask yourself, is it really my fault? Would I tell a friend to stay in this situation? What evidence do I have that they'll change? Don't accept thoughts at face value. Investigate them. 4. Talk to a therapist. Not just any therapist. Find one who understands narcissistic abuse. They can help you untangle the mental knots and rebuild your sense of reality. A good therapist gives you clarity, not confusion. 5. Go no contact if possible. The less exposure you have to the narcissist, the faster your mind can heal. Think of it like quitting an addiction. Every message, every call, every memory can pull you back into the trap. Distance gives you perspective. Silence gives you strength. Part 9. Healing the mind after narcissistic abuse. Even after leaving, the battle isn't over. Many survivors continue to feel cognitive dissonance for months, even years after the relationship ends. They might miss the narcissist, feel guilty, or question if they made a mistake. This is normal. Healing from narcissistic abuse is not just about forgetting, it's about reprogramming your mind. You need to rebuild your identity. Who are you without the manipulation? Relearn trust. How do you spot healthy love? Reclaim your voice. What do you believe? What do you want? The process is slow, but every step forward is a victory. Part 10. Final thoughts. You are not weak. You are human. If you've ever been stuck in narcissistic abuse, know this. You are not stupid. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are human. Cognitive dissonance is a natural mental response to an unnatural situation. It's not your fault that your brain tried to protect you by denying the truth. But now you see it. And once you see the trap, you can start to climb out of it. Your mind is powerful. And when it's no longer split between two realities, it becomes your greatest ally. So keep learning. Keep questioning. Keep healing. And above all, believe this. You deserve peace. You deserve clarity. You deserve a love that doesn't confuse, hurt, or diminish you. This has been Mirror Mind. Thank you for watching. Stay strong. Stay aware. Stay free.